Federal government knows the names of all the terrorists and their locations in Nigeria. These were the statements or the words of Sheikh Ahmed Gumi. As you all know, that Gumi as an individual has been very, very controversial in this issue of insecurity in Nigeria. He has made a lot of statements, so controversial that you'll be wondering, that is Nigeria actually a country or a banana republic? The same Gumi has justified the actions of the terrorists, saying that they are only kidnapping children for ransom, in comparison to High Pope, who are killing soldiers. What a country. The same Ahmed Gumi has also told us that the terrorists are being killed by Christian soldiers. You can see how controversial it could be. But just to highlight some of his few statements. Having said that, the statement of Ahmed Gumi concerning the fact that Nigerian government knows all the names of the terrorists and their locations, I would say it is absolute truth, nothing but the truth. But what Ahmed Gumi is not telling us is that the knowledge or knowing the names of these terrorists and their locations did not start with this government. In fact, it's not just the names of the terrorists alone known to the federal government, even their sponsors, as far back as the administration of Buhari, especially the cross-border terrorists that they brought in, thinking that the 2015 election is going to be, but as God would have his way, I think we all know the end of the result, how the gentleman in person of Goodluck Jonathan handed over power peacefully. Peaceful transition. One of the most peaceful transitions we have had in the history of Nigeria. He said, no Nigerian blood is worth my political ambition. Now I wish every other Nigerian politician had the same understanding about their political ambition. But let's not deviate. Let's come back to the topic of the day. Federal government knows all the names of the terrorists and their locations. Even in the days of Buhari, there were constant communications with them, pacifying them, paying them. In fact, you will agree with me that on national television, El-Rufai once said that he paid some headsmen in that are troubling southern Kaduna in order for them to stop the attack. These were some of those guys, cross-border terrorists brought in against 2015 election. But there are many things that Ahmed Gumi is not telling us. He has only told us how federal government are aware of these names and know them in person and know their locations. But he has not told us that even himself as a religious cleric and many other religious clerics know the names of these terrorists and their locations. And they are in constant communication with them. And that some factions are loyal to some of them. He has not told us that even some traditional emirs in the north know the names of these terrorists and their location. He has not told us how this insecurity, especially the banditry and the kidnapping aspects of this insecurity, came to be in Nigeria. He knows a lot. He's always been in constant communication, negotiating here and there. And always, in fact, at a point in time, you would think he's their spokesperson. Because he has always been advocating, amnesty for this terrorist group, justifying their actions, why they should be kidnapping children for ransom. It's unfortunate. Then we also want you to tell us the role that the Northern Mafians, there's a group called Northern Mafians. Tell us their role in this insecurity we are expressing in Nigeria, especially in the era of Goodluck Jonathan, and the role they played in bringing Buhari to power. Of course, most of them are quite old now. I'm not mentioning names, except I have a clearance from my lawyer to do that. That is why in the era, in the administration of Buhari, it was more or less a gerontocracy, a form of government that is run or ruled by old people. Most of them were from this group called the Northern Mafians. Ahmed Gumi, tell us more. You know about this. And let me address Nigerians directly. All these statements, controversial statements you are hearing at this point in time is not coincidence. It's all about 2027 elections. The same tactics they've been employing is the same tactics they are repeating. And it's quite unfortunate that when insecurity becomes a political weapon in the hands of political elites, the collateral damages cannot be quantified. And I will tell you that the masses is usually the victims of all this political, cook-up. All this statement is geared towards 2027 election. The same tactics used against Goodluck Jonathan. But I want you to tell them, whenever they come up with this statement, that give us Obi, if they want a better Nigeria or give us a better candidate from the southern extraction of Nigeria, because all I want to become, Buhari cried on many occasions, I want to become president, and he eventually became. The end result as manifested in form of kidnapping, killings, maiming, banditry, hunger, name it. That is the end result. Weaponizing insecurity. Soldiers are dying. These are our brothers in Borno, in Kebbi, in Zamfara every day because of political power. Remember how these same Northern Mafians also use some people within the government of Jonathan to cause chaos. Suddenly, we started hearing how money was missing, how money was not remitted, into CBN by NNPC, billions, trillions are missing, all from Sanusi Lamido. These were all, a way, an implosion. The same pressure on Ribadu now, new Ribadu. But he's wiser because he knows that he will only be used and dumped. Not just because of his own political ambition against 2031, of course, he has the right. But there is pressure on him to cause a chaos within this government, which he has refused vehemently. Because of power, we want to destroy Nigeria. Making implosive statements without caring the implication, just because you want power to return to the north. If you want power, if you want better Nigeria, bring Obi for us.